Hello and welcome to another brand new episode on Boundary Line Podcast with Dillon and Sheldon. And the big question is, can the Aussies make it 2-all? Right? I mean, from what a wonderful comeback they had in the previous test in Indore, where Australia trumped India there and took everyone by surprise. Now it looks like they can win this next test match. And that's why we're here to discuss the fourth test, which is going to be played at Ahmedabad starting Thursday onwards off the Border Gavaskar Trophy. It's going to be an interesting one, like we discussed in our last podcast. So let's get straight into it. Sheldon, what I'm thinking right now is that the Aussies are going into this game feeling pretty confident. And what we likely discussed at the start of the series was that India is going to walk all over Australia here. It's going to be 4-0. I mean, most of the experts said that. I mean, even you said that it's going to be 4-0. But here we are at the last test match, and with a likely possibility that Australia can make it 2-all here.
Yeah, Dill, insane. I know my 4-0 prediction's gone out of the window, but I mean, what a game that was, right? I know I wasn't there for the last one when we were discussing, but wow. I mean, that last day, Travis Head came out, eased their way. 300 would have been easy, right? On that pitch, the way it was looking. What pitch talk? I mean, they came out with such positivity. And yeah, Dill, 2-1. Australia, the happy of the two sides, all the positives, nothing to worry about, no pitch, no this. It seems all the problems have shifted now to the other camp. And what a difference a test makes, right? Till after the second game, everyone giving Australia spinning lessons, how to play this, how to play that. Ian Healy in the zone, teaching them how to sweep. Ashwin with the masterclass. And now Australia's the ones, who would say, oh, this is how you play spin. I mean, it's amazing how a win can change the mindset, right, Dil? And on to Ahmedabad, right, for the last game.
Yes, Ahmedabad it's going to be, but just a note there, we all know what happened when India played last time at Ahmedabad. I mean, English fans will pretty much remember that, or they don't want to remember that what happened. And yeah, because India trumped England really badly there in Ahmedabad the last time they met. But I feel with this whole pitch talk going on over here, and everyone's like, we need to give them a fair pitch, like, prepare a fair track and let's see what happens. And what I'm thinking right now is that if India go on to get a rank turner here, and with Nathan Lyon bowling like a dream right now, and his two other co-bowlers there, if I may say so, that India will be thinking that no, we don't want this kind of a pitch right now, because I mean, if our spinners can do damage, so can Nathan Lyon and co, right?
Yeah, it's crazy. And I think, in fact, after the second game, Rohit Sharma said, we might make a green top in Ahmedabad to prepare for the World Test Championship final. And I mean, that might come back to bite them now, because if you make a green top with the series 2-1, and India need to win this game now.
Yeah.
Not for the series, but to make it to the World Test Championship final for sure. Yeah. So they have to win. So I'm very intrigued to see the pitch, because I don't think they'll make a rank turner. I think they can't afford to have another demerit point or anything like that. So it'll be very intriguing to see whether it's a green top or it's a pitch like Delhi, maybe, which didn't spin as much. Oh, sorry, Nagpur. Delhi did spin. Nagpur was the first. My bad. See, so many tests are going on. Confused which one's which. But yeah, Nagpur, which didn't spin as much. So maybe they make a pitch like that. But yeah, very interesting. And as you said, Lyon and Co, right? They must be on a high. The trio, I mean, they bowled so well last game as well, and they must be full of confidence.
Yeah, of course. I mean, Nathan Lyon, who can forget that brilliant spell bowling there, like, 8 for 64. I mean, that's absolutely brilliant. I mean, and to think that in the Indian spinners couldn't replicate that. That's why I'm like, India must be thinking that, hold on here, if we go out and make a rank turner here, these guys can do the damage to us as well. And let's face it, I mean, we've all seen the stats. India's top 5 against spin bowling in India in the last 2-3 years have not been the greatest. I mean, you've got Kohli averaging 22 there. You've got Pujara also averaging in the 20s. Only Rohit Sharma seems to have got his average better. There, KL Rahul is averaging 9, for all you know. And so what are these guys going to get? I mean, are they going to get like a fair track right now or not? Which we'll have to wait and see. That's going to be interesting. But interestingly, Rohit Sharma said in the post-match press conference there, he's like, we want to play on these kind of tracks, I was like, why would you do that? Like, why would you go ahead and do that? Because it's just like absurd just saying that. But good news for Aussie fans. I mean, I don't know if it's good news or bad news, but in other news, I would say that Steve Smith still stays on as captain. we've all heard him there in the post-match presentation where he said that he loves to, be the leader in this part of the world as he understands it much better. Sheldon, you think he's done a damn good job? Pat Cummins would be like, go on, mate. Like, it's fine. Go ahead.
Yeah, exactly, Dill. I'm sure Cummins saw that game and thought, you know what, I don't need to go back because Smith was just excellent. And it just seemed like he knew what was needed to win a game in India,
Yeah.
like the field placements. And
Yeah.
he knew that something had to happen every ball. You can't just
Exactly.
sit back and let a
Yeah.
partnership build. And whether it was him taking outstanding catches or Kawaja or his bowling changes, it seemed every time he brought on another spinner, they took a
Yeah.
wicket. And
Yeah.
it's just the different kind of captaincy needed in India. You need
Yeah.
to be on your feet and thinking. And Cummins is a great guy, and I'm sure he'll come back straight into the side as
Yeah,
captain.
of
But
course.
I think right now, for this next game, Australia's probably like, okay, Smith, continue. Because he's
Yeah.
on a roll and he won a game in India, which is very tough, as we know. Yeah.
Yeah, and that he won a game on a pitch that was absolute shit, like we all know.
Yeah,
And when no
exactly,
one
exactly.
expected Australia to win, I mean, when you looked at the pitch, you were like, okay, another win for India. This game is going to get wrapped up in 3 days, and for all you know, I mean, the Aussie guys are the ones that, will be like, okay, mate, you guys are gonna we're gonna take you down. And I mean, they played brilliantly, and credit has to be given to the way they played.
Yeah.
So that's the whole deal now. India would be thinking that, okay, fine, these guys are on a roll, and we need to really come back stronger. But I'm sure both teams are gonna go at each other really hard there. And another point to discuss there would be about Matt and Murphy, the two newcomers there. I mean, what a series they are having.
Yeah, it's insane. And so often you think, oh, we're going to take spinners, they're going to bowl well in India. They're supposed to do it, it's their job. But no, Dil, so many times foreign spinners have come to India and have struggled. We've seen it so many times with teams from SENA region. We've seen it multiple times with New Zealand and England and at times Australia also in the past. But I think these two have been absolutely brilliant. They've done as well as they could. They've both taken fifers as well, and they've supported line as well as they could. And Kuderman as well in the first innings, you can argue that won them the game on the first day. The way he bowled, that was such a brilliant spell on the first day. And if Australia didn't start well, they could have easily gone down in last game. It was so important. And Todd Murphy, it just seems like he's coming and he's just a part of the side. He's like, okay, got into the zone easy, and he's just holding up one end, and his line seems really good, and he has just brilliant control as well.
Absolutely true, Sheldon. I mean, the way both these youngsters have bowled, I mean, credit needs to be given to them. And that's the reason why I was just going back to the first two matches there and just having a look at where Australia lost the matches. It's just that they've had the game in their hands, right? In certain moments. And it's just those small key moments that they've lost, and they've allowed India to come back into the game, right? And both Delhi and in Nagpur, they must be thinking that, and if you have to look at all three of them, like Murphy, Matt, and even Lyon, they've all bowled well in all three test matches, right? So they have been like a constant thing. It's just that the batting has let them down, which now they are finally adjusted to. So let's hope that the batters come good. And like we all know, Australia are already in the World Test Championship final there. So they most likely looking right now to be playing India. I mean, because Sri Lanka has to beat New Zealand 2-0 there, which is, let's face it, it's going to be really tough there to beat New Zealand in New Zealand. So likely going to be India.
Yeah, Dylan, it could be that game at the Oval, India-Australia again after these 4 test matches. But yeah, this one is also important. India would love to qualify, without having to rely on New Zealand to win a game. Yeah. I'm sure India won't be thinking, okay, even if we lose this game, it's okay. But yeah, most likely it will be Australia versus India at the Oval. And that probably will be a green top. I remember when England played South Africa at the Oval, that pitch did a lot last summer. So it's very possible that could do a lot as well. Very different to, the previous pitch that we played on. I'm pretty sure it won't spin as much.
Very, very different. Let's face that. But yes, like we said, when Australia got trumped in those first 2 games, they came back really well. And I think they want to finish this on a high then. They want to prove all the experts, all the players that we're speaking about them and saying that they need to play in a certain way. They need to be be more aggressive. I'm just imagining if the series, if Australia win this and the series is 2-2 and then these guys meet in Oval, it's just going to be insane, right?
Oh my God. Yeah, it'll be the decider, right, Dylan? We want to see. We could have it there. And it's amazing how fast things change. Because after 2 games, they were saying this is the worst Australia side to tour. They had all the problems. And if they win the next game, they'll be the first side since 2012 to win 2 test matches in India
In India.
in a series. So
Exactly.
you're telling me the worst side ever to the best side ever since 2012? Cricket's a funny game, though. That's all I'll say about that.
Very funny game, I mean, for sure. And coming to India right now, Sheldon, is Akshar Patel. I mean, this guy, I don't know if he's having a good series or or a bad series. I mean, good series with the bat, bad series with the ball, right? But this guy, I mean, I don't know what's India's plan with him, and just not, and like with Jadeja and Ashwin there in the team, he seems to have been like lost in that team.
Yeah, Dill, it's true. I mean, his batting has been outstanding, as you were saying. And
Yeah.
it's interesting because his bowling, I remember against England, was obviously outstanding in his first test series. But it just seems this series he's struggled to back up Ashwin and Jadeja. I mean, it just seems like when a partnership's building, it's always Ashwin or Jadeja that has to take the wicket.
Yeah.
It's very rarely that Akshar comes in and takes the wicket. And I think Australia have also played him well. Obviously, they can play a bowler well. That can
Yeah.
happen.
Yeah.
But it just feels that India's other seamer usually outbowls Akshar. Like Umesh Yadav last game, for example, he came in and bowled really well.
Yeah.
And I think it's always tough for a third spinner. Like you always hear Ashwin this, Jadeja that, and he's probably just struggling to find himself. But I guess if he keeps scoring runs, that'll help out. So he's doing a job there.
Yeah, and guess what? Where we're going to play the next test in Ahmedabad. We all know when he played there, what happened last. So this may just be the breaker for him. Like, this is his test match, and he owns it because I mean that last time he played in Ahmedabad, he wreaked havoc all over England and took his career best for like what six wickets or something, like for hardly any runs. You're right. But the other question, what is on everyone's mind, is do India need to make any changes? Because obviously they do have a lot of issues going on there, but highly unlikely that they're going to make some changes. Do you think so?
Yeah, Dylan. And I thought in the first game when they took out Sky, that was a bit harsh when they brought in Shreyas Iyer. I mean, obviously it's easy to say now that it probably didn't work out well, but I mean, now they'll probably stick with everyone. I doubt they're going to make many changes after the game. But I think if there was one player under threat a bit, it'd be KS Bharat a bit. I feel his keeping wasn't as good last game. And his batting's been non-existent in the series almost. And I know the pitches are tough and obviously it's spinning, but it just feels he hasn't made an impact at all in the series. And when you have someone like Ishan Kishan, who's like X factor on the bench, like maybe they'll think about him, but I doubt they'll make a sub. What would you do, Dil, if you were given that choice?
I would not change KS Bharat from his position. I think he's kept all these matches, so you don't want to disturb that thing. And if he's batting at number 6 or something like that, way down, I mean, it's fine. He doesn't have to score up the order or something like that. So it's okay that way. But I think the one change India may make is probably Mohammad Shami coming in for Umesh. That's the only change that I can see. But other than that, I don't think so India's going to make any change, And yes, I mean, and the fact that you said that the wicket keeping was not up to the mark just goes to show how important and how India are without Rishabh Pant. I mean, they're missing that guy on the field. Even if he doesn't, score that many runs, it's just his impact and his nature over there, right? Right behind the stumps, always keeping the slip cordon on high and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, Dylan, you think like the pitches they've played on as well, he'd be ideal. Imagine like he comes in for a quick counter punch, a quick 40, a quick 50, and he just had a terrific test record as well. I mean, not just the counter punching, but he was India's best test batsman when he was in form for the last year or so before he got injured, right? In terms of form, he was playing really well.
Yeah,
and his average also is really good. So they're definitely missing his keeping, but even his batting and his runs, that's definitely a big miss for them.
Another question everyone seems to be asking is Virat Kohli. He's not getting the runs that is required of him. Rohit Sharma's got 100 already in the series, but what the hell is Virat Kohli doing? Just to remind folks that in the last 2 test matches, out of all the batsmen, I think Virat Kohli was looking the most easiest over there, right at the crease.
Yeah, he's looked good, and that's the weird thing. He just finds a way to get himself out, whether it's a short ball or something. And it's like he's surviving all the good balls, and then you'll just see one loose ball there, which he just doesn't put away. And I know they'll talk about Kohli's record, right? But some of these pitches in India have been quite shit to bat on, right? Like,
Yeah,
just being honest,
yeah,
like he must be thinking, like, where are the decent pitches? I'm not asking for a flat road, but at least
yeah,
one day when I come into bat, can it be an okay pitch? And when you look at the stats of all the Indian batsmen, not just Kohli, I know he's being
yeah,
highlighted because he's one of the all-time greats, obviously, but
yeah,
everyone's been struggling. You think like the better batsmen have been Rohit occasionally on, he's had some outstanding innings, and Ashwin and Jadeja and Akshar are probably like the best batsmen, and that just shows how tough it's been for all the top order batsmen. And yeah, it's a bit of a tough rush, but I feel like when Kohli gets like a decent pitch or something, like he'll get back to form. I don't think it's a worry, and I'm sure you'd agree, Dil. You wouldn't be
yeah.
too worried about Kohli's place, right?
Yeah, of course, because I feel it's not about form. I feel like he
Yeah,
batted in the previous test match also, and he was looking good, right? And like you said, he finds ways to get himself out, like
yeah, yeah.
and like you said, also the pitch wasn't best in all these matches. I mean, if you're going to get pitches that are going to turn from right from day one, from the first over, I mean, come
Yeah.
on, no batsman's going to score 100,
Yeah,
and a batsman that gets 25 or something like that, that's equivalent to like a lot more, right? So
yeah,
that's the thing that he's doing it. And if you want a test match wherein, like, you want the batsman to get runs and you want, the fast bowlers to take some wickets, we're not seeing that happening. You're seeing that, Rohit's just going straight away to Ashwin first over, giving him the ball. Steve Smith's third over is just going to like Nathan Lyon, be like, here, take the ball.
yeah.
This is very unlikely for us to see, like, so if you want the batsman also to score runs, if you want a fair test match, I feel prepare a decent wicket wherein, the batsman can get runs also, and
Yeah.
but it's still not that easy for them to get. But and you want the fast bowlers also in early so that they can take some wickets. I mean, we all know the last test match, Umesh Yadav and Mohammad Siraj like hardly bowled in the second inning. They didn't do anything there,
Yeah.
right? I mean, so
Yeah.
what's the point of them being there in the team also, you ask? So a lot of pressure on India now, Sheldon. I mean, they've at the start of this series and even before the last test match, they would have felt that, okay, fine, guys, one more win here and then we are done. We don't have to do anything silly there.
Yeah.
But now they find themselves in a situation where that, okay, fine, we need to win this series so that, we can rest now and then feel like, okay, fine, we're going to meet, for sure, we're going to meet Australia in the final, right?
Yeah, Dil, exactly. And there is pressure on India as well. But I think if it's a fair pitch, India would like that as well. I know like everyone's saying, oh, it might favor Australia if it's a fair pitch, but I'm sure India's batsmen would be
Yeah.
hoping, come on, guys, give us something to bat on
They're
because
begging them
like,
literally, like, guys, please.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And I think like they probably put a bit of grass on it. Maybe you never know. They probably cut it off now that they need a win. But I hope it's a fair pitch. We'd love to see an Australia-India game go to 5 days
Yeah.
for a change. That'd be
Yeah.
nice. Not a 3 day and then 2 day weekend just wondering what to do. That'd be nice for a change. But yeah, I think India won't panic too much. It was one loss. It can
Yeah.
happen. And
Yeah.
it was a raging turner. So honestly, anyone could have won on the day. So I think for India, we stick to the basics and just play hard from the first day. Should be the aim, I think.
Yeah, it's going to be an insane day for sure, especially the first day, because from what we know is that both the prime ministers, India and
Oh.
Australia's prime minister, are going to be there to watch the first day at least. So, and apparently they're expecting around 90K people over there,
Wow.
inside on the first day at least, hoping that the test match doesn't get over in 3 days. But yes, it's going to be happening at the Narendra Modi Stadium, and like we said, day one's going to be really interesting. Series is up there for Australia to draw it and to finish on a high, or we'll have to wait and watch if India can finally win one more and just relax themselves before that World Test Championship. Coming to the pitch, in other news, Sheldon, the ICC has rated the indoor pitch as really poor. I mean, no surprises there.
That's shocking, Dil. That's shocking. I'm astonished by that. I thought they were going to get a good pitch. I mean, yeah, Abdul, I think that's no surprise. I think when you saw it on day one itself and the dust on that pitch and just how weird it looked. I mean, pitches aren't supposed to.
When Alex Carey like reached for the ball like almost at his head on day one, I was like, wow.
Yeah, exactly, Dylan. Yeah, I mean, right call, obviously, that decision. And I think that might help. I don't think India would want to make a similar pitch to that. So it might help in making a fairer pitch for the next game as well.
Yeah.
And it's amazing how that pitch is the one Australia won. I still can't believe it,
Out
like
of all
that
the
pitch.
pitches, yeah.
Yeah. And it just shows, Dil, how they were complaining before about the pitches. And when they got decent pitches, they struggled. But the one pitch that was actually poor, as the ICC said, was the one they stuck it out and won on. I mean,
Yeah, I
cricket,
mean,
man, it just surprises you every day.
but thank you for watching the video, everybody. And if do hit the like button if you like our video, and if you like the content that we are putting out, then a subscribe would mean a lot. Hit the subscribe button, share the video with your friends, and do stay tuned to more updates on Boundary Line Podcast. Thank you so much.